welcome back to my channel, Just Joiner. Thank you for tuning in. Today's video is about the personal statement. I know it's been a minute, my bad, but here we go. As you all know, if you are applying for VMCAS this year or in a few years, you do have to write a personal statement. They've also added some more questions than when I applied last year, so I had to go back and look at the VMCAS application site to make sure that my information was current and truly applied, but they're still pretty similar, so I took some tips on what I did for my personal statement, as well as tips on how to write the current personal statement and the additional questions. So first and foremost, the personal statement is a great essay that will help give admissions committee a window into your life as a pre-veterinary student and make them more confident or less confident as to why they should accept you or admit you into the veterinary program. So your job in the personal statement is to give the committee a summary, but a detailed summary, which is part of the challenge, of who you are, why you should go to their vet school, how you know that you're ready for vet school, and that you will succeed at their vet school and in the veterinary community. That's the overall main arcing goal of the personal statement. So like I said, the VMCAS question has changed for the personal statement. This year's personal statement question is, based on your current understanding of careers in veterinary medicine, how do you aspire to contribute to the veterinary profession? That's question one. Second question is, what qualities and perspectives do you have that will help you succeed as a veterinary student? In this personal statement question, they've actually already helped guide you to what you should talk about. The personal statement question last year was like, how do you know you want to be a veterinarian? Why do you want to be a veterinarian? So it's much more broader. So they've already given you two specifics to help you achieve the answer that they're looking for. So that's a bonus. Let's get into the do's and don'ts of a personal statement. It's currently end of June. VMCAS is due September 15th, so we still have lots of time. Even if you plan to apply by the end of August, which is a good goal, you still have plenty of time. You should be writing your personal statement right now, really diving into the meat and potatoes and the nitty-gritty, but you still have time, so don't stress. My first do is to bullet point your answer. If you're reading the personal statement question and you're kind of getting stuck and you're like, I know some reasoning but not everything, go ahead and bullet point and just literally answer those questions before trying to complete a masterpiece of a essay. So just literally sit down and bullet point. What perspectives and qualities do you have that you know will make you a good veterinary student? And how do you aspire to contribute to the veterinary profession? So how do you aspire to attribute to the veterinary profession? I want to work in areas where there is a veterinarian shortage, right? That provides resources for many people that don't have veterinarians, or they have to travel 2 hours away to just go to the veterinarian because there's no veterinarians near them, right? That's how you can. So write down those bullet points and then move on to the next question. What qualities and perspectives do you have that will help you succeed as a veterinarian? Okay, I'm resilient. How are you resilient? I had to retake a class, and the second time I retook the class, I had the highest score in the class. I learned so much from retaking the class. I know how to study now. Just different reasons behind that bullet point. Once you write down those bullet points and can give explanations to each bullet point, you'll be able to see, oh, I can pull this piece and add it to my personal statement. Oh, I can pull this piece, add that to my personal statement. It's helping you, it's kind of like a mind map, but not really. It's helping you map out what you want to add to your personal statement. Because just trying to sit down and write words, you're going to feel like SpongeBob trying to write his what I learned in boating school essay, right? You don't want to feel like that. You just want to take his breath, bullet point out what you want to write, and then create that beautiful masterpiece. So that's my first do. Bullet point out your answers. If you're stuck, if you're not stuck, go ahead and just write it out. But my second do, provide a turning point or an experience that helped you know that veterinary medicine was for you. This is something that I did in my own personal statement last year when the question was a little bit different. So if you're able to still use, that experience and just turn it a little bit to fit the questions you're asked this year a little bit better, you'd really be set. But talking about an experience that really said or made you confirm to yourself, because that's what admissions committees are looking for. They want you to know that veterinary medicine is right for you, and not just because you had a golden retriever named Luna when you were little and you liked acting like a doctor on her. That's cute, that's cool, but that's not enough. Don't This is my first don't. Don't write a resume inside your personal statement. That's not what it's for. Your resume is somewhere else. Your experiences are somewhere else. You're just taking, they already see that you've worked at these different places. You're just taking a little bit from your resume and adding it. Don't make your entire personal statement a resume. Don't talk about, oh, I was at the enrichment summer program for a few weeks and I took courses and I was able to talk to different professors and I worked on large animals and small animals and I did mostly restraining and I talked with a few class. No, it's not what you want to do. Don't. That doesn't give admissions committee a window into who you are. That tells them what you did, but who are you? Why do you want to go to that school? It's a difference. And it's challenging to distinguish the two, but you really got to try your best. My second do is use a hook, right? It can be an onomatopoeia, it can be dialogue. If you can do it right, it can be a question, right? I started my personal statement with dialogue, but give the reader something interesting to read as soon as they open the paper. You know, they're reading hundreds of essays, literally hundreds of essays, so you don't want to be boring and then, oh, I've seen all this before. You know, you don't want them to look at your essay and say, oh, I've seen this before. I read an essay like this before. This is very generic, you know, a voice for the voiceless, that whole thing. You don't want to be like that. So try and use a hook or a phrase or something interesting that will make them go, oh, that's different. Oh, I like that. Make them remember your personal statement. Next, don't. Do not use ChatGPT or any AI source to write your paper. While it may sound better to you because they use a lot of big words and talk in circles, it does not provide that human touch or that human quality that the admissions committee is looking for. One thing robots don't have that you have is many things. Number one, that was a trick question, but emotions. They're not emotion. They don't have emotions the way we do. It's missing that connection that's required. And there's a lot of emotions that are in veterinary medicine. There's a lot of connections made. So you want to be able to articulate that to the admissions committee, and AI and ChatGPT and Gemini and any other source can't do that. So don't do that. Period. My next do would be write as many drafts as possible. Like I said earlier, I know it's June, so it's a little bit later, but not really. So you can still, please, work on different drafts. I started writing my personal statement my freshman year of college, actually. And then I would write like 2 personal statements a year, just adding to or taking away from the prior one and really trying to articulate directly why I wanted to be a veterinarian and how I knew I wanted to be a veterinarian. And every year I gained more experiences, more knowledge. I was a little bit more mature. So it was nice being able to see that growth from my first personal statement, which was trash, to the one that I finally submitted last year. So write as many drafts as possible. If you're writing one and it doesn't feel good, it's okay to start over. I have probably 30 drafts. I would just write them in a notebook. I would write little blurbs or excerpts and move them around in different personal statements. Ooh, I like how I wrote this part, so I'm gonna add it to this personal statement, see how it fits. No, it doesn't fit. Okay, I'll switch this out. I did that for months. I did it for years, literally. So write as many drafts as possible. You know, I went to a personal statement webinar with Tufts University. It was a Zoom, and they talked about your first personal statement should not be your last. You know, and that felt good because I felt like my first personal statement was trash. So having multiple drafts is good. It means that you are really brainstorming and really working out those kinks and getting your gears turning. And when you put pen to paper, man, that's another thing. I do not type out my personal statement first. I get a physical pen and a physical piece of paper and I write it out. I did that in college too when I wrote essays, but something about the pen to paper mechanism, it really makes me become creative and really allows me to express myself more than typing on a keyboard. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're like, this just does not sound like, you know, fire, try pen and paper. Just try it. Even try writing exercises to really get your creative juices flowing, because you want your paper to sound like who you are. Of course, you want to sound smart, you want to sound like the best you possible, but you want to add that seasoning or that flavor of who you are. So really try and add that creative touch to your paper while still sounding very professional. Again, that's another challenge, but it's part of the fun. Please, also while writing your essays, understand that your word count is limited. So you want to make every sentence, whether it's adding those flavors and seasonings to your writing or talking about that experience or listing those qualities, every sentence has to count. Every word has to count. You are limited on your word count, and that committees do that to make sure that you're able to get your points across rather quickly without wasting time, wasting space. You're getting to the nitty-gritty and straight to the point, very direct. So you want to understand your word count is limited. You know, does this sentence, you have to ask yourself, does this sentence really make sense? Do I really need to add this piece? Is this excerpt really necessary? Take out those unnecessary, redundant, irrelevant portions of your personal statement and really shrink it up, concise it. Don't cut out the creativity, don't cut out the reasoning, cut out the fluff. You don't need fluff. There's a difference between fluff and creativity and flavors of writing. You know, it's up to you to decide which is which, but there is a difference. If you're also struggling with your personal statement, writing something down, you're like, I really just don't know what I want to talk about besides these points. In 2 sentences or less, write why you want to be a veterinarian, right? This can be a writing activity to get your juices flowing. While I was writing my personal statement, I would do a few 5-minute creative writings just to, you know, I didn't do lots of this type of writing when I was in school. I did a lot of scientific literature, and this is not a scientific literature paper, so please don't write it like that. So using those, you know, 5-minute creative writing activities or little exercises really helped get that creative side of me going. And so if you would like a creative writing exercise, in 2 sentences or less, tell me why you want to be a veterinarian. I want to be a veterinarian because I want to be a veterinarian because personally, when I did this, I said I want to be a veterinarian because it allows me to combine my passion for animal welfare with my mission to uplift the minorities and African American groups, right? The African American group. And then from there, I listed the bullet points, right? Not seeing many people who look like me in the field. Not having a mentor who looked like me in the field. I want to help somebody else navigate those different obstacles because I did it kind of solo. It's nice to be able to talk to other people about your work and what you're doing. So if I can help somebody else, that would be great, right? That was another bullet point, you know, helping other people navigate veterinary medicine because it's such a cool field. So if you're able to write in 2 sentences or less why you want to be a veterinarian, and then go from there, expand, broaden your reasonings, and answer these questions, I think you will have a masterpiece at the end of it. I know you guys are feeling some nervous energy and that it's almost time to submit your applications. Take your time, take a breath. Congratulations to all the people who are going in this August and or January like myself. Congratulations to all the people applying. I know that it can be nerve-wracking, but look at it like a fun nerve-wracking, like the NFL draft or something, you know. Just make it positive or you will just go absolutely crazy. So good luck. Try to enjoy your summer. I know it's hard, but try to enjoy your summer and good luck. And thanks for tuning in. See you in the next video. Bye.